You want to talk about, what was his name? Mike Shaka? What was his name?
Bob Shaku. Bob Shaku. We got that on record. Yeah. Bob Shaku and Janky Bone Shoes are overseeing.
So, and Bob Shaku was born in Mike's Madness, right?
Yeah.
How did that come about?
Bob Shaku!
Do you have Tourette's, Mike?
Really? Did I say that? Did I say Bob Shaku?
Yeah,
Yes.
you did.
Oh, I thought Justin made that up.
Well, you were making a noise, and it sounded like you said Bob Shaku, and that's why I said, yeah, I work with Bob Shaku.
I didn't know that.
Mike, you were going, Bob Shaku!
I was? Let me keep drinking.
On this episode of the MacGuffin Guild, we're gonna put aside our differences to even the score with an evil kingpin who put us behind bars once and for all in Tango Cash. This 1989 buddy cop action crime comedy stars Sylvester Stallone, Kurt Russell, Teri Hatcher, Jack Palance, and a star-studded supporting cast, directed by Andrey Konchalovsky, among others. We're going to talk about the director situation, Mr. Blue, lethal weapon comparisons, and we'll discuss when a script doesn't quite work out as planned. We'll dig into the other times Stallone has been framed, the infallibility of the nostalgia factor, the chin of Robert Zadar, the roles of James Hong, the bones of Bigfoot, and backstage boobies. We'll also get into how this film has it all. We'll figure out our midlives, and we'll dig into the major plot hole that Justin brought to our attention. I'm Pat Doherty, and as always, I'll be joined by my fellow MacGuffins, Justin Jones and Mike Antonio. Our theme song was written and performed by Jordan Vincent. Two of LA's top rival cops are going to have to work together, even if it kills them, in Tango Cash.
I raised you better than this.
And welcome to another episode of the MacGuffin Guild. I am Pat Doherty, and as always, I am joined by my fellow MacGuffins, and they are...
In no particular order.
In no particular order. Well, no, there's a very specific order.
I like the nervous laughter you used to cover up the fact that you forgot our names. It's been so long.
No, that wasn't it. Yeah, exactly. It's been weeks. I don't know you guys.
Who are my co-hosts again?
What's his face in Buckethead?
And Buckethead just sits there and plays guitar.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, Justin Jones. Justin, how are you?
I'm good, man. What's going on?
I'm glad to be back. We're back in the saddle again. As,
Me too, man.
As Aerosmith says.
Yeah. I'm excited about tonight. I had a really shitty couple of weeks, and looking to unwind, just hang out and talk shit.
Nice. Well, this is a good movie to talk shit on. So speaking of talking shit, Mike Antonio. How you doing, Mike?
Wait, are you saying that I am a talking piece of shit? No. Is that what you're inferring?
Yeah.
Speaking of talking shit.
Not talking like talking with apostrophe after the end. I'm talking a literal talking piece of shit.
Our own resident talking pile of shit, Mike Antonio.
You know, I mean, yeah, that's fair.
Are you good, all things considered?
Yeah. I mean, for a piece of shit, I've got a pretty good life.
Yeah, you do. I see you're about 2 Jaeger bombs in.
Yeah.
Is that Jaeger bombs? Is that what you're drinking?
Well, it's like, I like to call these slow Jaeger bombs. Because it's not a true Jaeger bomb. It's like, usually I double up on the Jaeger, like 2 shots, and then use a can of Red Bull, and I just kind of drink, like, I don't chug it, I just... you know, drink it like I would drink a beer.
Like you're sophisticated.
Yeah, I'm sophisticated with my Jaeger, my slow Jaeger bomb.
Nice.
Are you wearing pajama pants while you're drinking it?
No, I'm wearing jeans.
Oh, okay.
I went all out today. I'm wearing actual clothes instead of jammies.
I thought you were adding an extra level of sophistication to this.
I forgot my smoking jacket tonight.
Oh, yeah.
So, speaking of drinking, Justin, are you drinking anything specific?
So I am.
Drinking with JJ?
It has nothing to do with the movie we're about to watch. I had a drink when the first 2 times we tried to record this. Because a lot of times I like to drink these like bubbly drinks. These like sparkling waters. And I didn't have anything that was like related to this. And I realized I fell into this ass backwards. I had mango and passion fruit drinks.
Nice.
Mango and Pash, Tango and Cash. So
Yeah, that's good.
But I ran out because that was like a month ago. So I'm drinking. I do this thing now. I don't have much booze in the house because I do this thing like every 9 months to a year. I'll decide I'm gonna empty all the booze out of my house.
And by empty, you mean consume it?
Exactly.
All at once. Consume it wholesale.
Yeah, so I just start drinking whatever's in the house, and I try and use it up till it's gone. So right now I'm drinking rum and cokes, but by the end of the episode, who knows what I'll be drinking?
Laundry detergent.
But then what usually happens is I'm like, all right. Then a month or two after that, I'm like, I don't have any booze in the house, and I just restock everything. So.
So I'm glad everybody's well. So for anyone who didn't listen to the mini that we put out recently, we took a little break just to kind of tend to our life matters and whatnot. Nothing major, but just getting our heads on straight. And we are back again. We would have had this episode out sooner, but we have dealt with, this is now, as Justin said, the third attempt to get this episode recorded because of technical difficulties and other situations. So we are here now, and are you in for a special treat? There are very few films that could live up to the standards that you would expect for a return episode. And today, Tango and Cash.
A film worthy of our illustrious return.
Criterion Collection, spine number 486.
But before we get to it, first, a spoiler-ravaged synopsis. The polar opposites, Ray Tango, a suave and sophisticated police officer, and Gabe Cash, his overzealous long-haired partner, are a mismatched LAPD crime-fighting duo who work tirelessly to bring down their arch-nemesis, the ruthless drug lord Yves Perret. However, when Perret manages to incriminate them with falsified evidence, Ray and Gabe will soon end up in a maximum security prison, where an almost endless parade of inmates previously incarcerated by them are waiting for their captors impatiently. Now, more than ever, Tango and Cash need to put their differences aside to come up quickly with a good plan, not only to escape the jail's walls, but also to even the score with the evil kingpin who put them behind bars once and for all. Of course, that's easier said than done. Tango and Cash. So Tango and Cash, rated R, 1989, 1 hour and 44 minutes, which, to be honest, is an hour and 44 minutes too long.
Oh, this is going to be a fun one.
Yeah. Let's see. So directors, it gets a little convoluted when we're talking about who directed this one.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
So the director who is credited is Andrey Konchalovsky. Konchalovsky.
Probably.
Yeah. So Andrey Konchalovsky. Albert Magnoli is the uncredited director, but I believe there's even more to the story, which we can get into in a little bit. I think there's as many as 4 directors that put their hands on this thing through the course of its lifespan.
That sounds about right. Yep.
So for any of you who may not know, a MacGuffin is a plot device used to drive along a story, and we here on the Guild like to use the film that we select as a MacGuffin to drive along our conversation. And that is what we intend to do this evening, or day, whenever you happen to be listening to this.
Morning commute.
Morning constitutional.
So before we swing over to Rotten Tomatoes, I wanted to go through the cast real quick because there is a plethora of people in this film. The obvious ones, Sylvester Stallone, Kurt Russell, Teri Hatcher, Jack Palance or Palance? How does he pronounce that?
I say Palance.
I've always said
Palance,
Palance. Yeah. It could be wrong. I'm not. I've heard it the other way too, but.
We got the great Brian James, who we've had before.
Oh yeah.
We have James Hong.
Oh yeah.
And there's one more. Oh, yeah, the Michael J. Pollard.
Oh, yeah.
For listeners, you may not know the name, but you definitely know the face.
Bonnie and Clyde.
Yep, and Scrooged.
Scrooge, that's what I always think of.
Yeah.
We watch it every year. Mm-hmm. Robert Zadar?
Yeah, Robert Zadar.
You were just gonna skip right over Robert Zadar?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. I'm sorry. I don't know how I could. That's blasphemy. Mm-hmm. Dude, he is such... I mean, I certainly want to dig into him a little bit, but that jaw is such a serious jaw.
There's a lot of other people you can point out too, but I also want to point out Eddie Bunker, or Edward Bunker, played Captain Holmes, which we'll talk about later.
I'm trying to picture him.
He's Mr. Blue.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
How about that? Mm-hmm. You know, I did not realize until this moment that he was Mr. Blue.
Yeah, he's a super interesting human being, so...
Wow. Well, he passed away in 2005. Damn shame. 71 years old.
Yep.
All right, so the tagline for this one, apparently there's only one, according to IMDb. 2 of LA's top rival cops are going to have to work together, even if it kills them.
Lame.
Kind of is what it is.
That's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard worse, but...
It's pretty weak.
Would anyone care to guess on Rotten Tomatoes where this one ranks on the tomato meter with 47 critic reviews? What do you think?
Justin, do you want to do the honors, or you want me to get
38?
38? What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, you're right in my, was it Pepper Shed or Pepper Shack? Which one was it?
Pepper Shed.
Pepper Shed. You're right in the Pepper Shed I was going for. I'm going to say 34.
Mike is like a ringer.
Hey, what? What was it?
Well, it's 30. So, yeah.
Wow.
30%.
Justin, we both highballed it.
Yeah, we gave this movie a little too much credit, I think.
Yeah, were you guys, like, even when you guessed those numbers, were you guessing that you were probably going too high?
I honestly thought I went a little too low.
I really thought it was in the 30-something range. Somewhere in the 30s.
So, Justin, you think you went too low, though, is what your gut was telling you?
Yeah, but in hindsight, I think I probably did go too high. Because the critics... this is not a critics movie.
No. All right, so if it's not a critic movie, you would hope it would be an audience movie. So what do you think they ranked it?
38.
I'm going to say... Is that your real number, Justin?
Yeah, one of these got to land, you know.
I'm going to go with... I'm going to increase mine to 54.
Jesus Christ. Did you cheat, Mike?
No, not at all. Why? What is it?
52%.
Damn.
He knows the people.
I just figured it would be a little higher, but still low.
He does know the people, doesn't he?
We all have our gifts and we all have things that we contribute.
I'm a man of the people. Don't you know?
Yeah, you are a man of the people.
All right, so I've been excited about this part. You guys want to dig into some critic reviews here and have some fun?
Yeah, I would love to.
Yes, please.
This isn't usually my favorite part, but I think this I think this one may be the exception.
Yeah. All right. So we'll start kind of slow and steady. We got Gene Siskel from Chicago Tribune. He says the jokes seem lame and the rivalry fraudulent as the 2 boys play with their big guns. I'm sure there's more to it. Desmond Ryan from Philadelphia Inquirer says, both men think that the best way to deliver the right to remain silent to the usual suspects is via a right hook. Michael Wilmington from Los Angeles Times. Tango and Cash is a waste of talent and energy on all levels. Unworthy of Konchalovsky, unworthy also of Stallone, Russell, and every superior technical credit on the film. I sort of agree with that one.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a lot of, like, heavy-hitting talent involved in this, and it's pretty farty.
Yeah, there's a lot of talent going to waste, I think.
Yeah. I like this one. So this one came out in 2016, so you have to take that into account with because it talks years here. So as of 2016, this review reads, and this is Jason Bailey from Flavor Wire. He says, Tango and Cash turns 25 years old next month, which means if it were a person, it'd be right around the age to start realizing what a stupid movie Tango and Cash is.
I usually like to stay on the positive, but man.
Yeah. All right, David Nusser from Real Film Reviews.
We've had him before, I think.
Oh, a ton.
A
We've had
bunch
him
of times.
a whole lot. He says, an ineffective misfire that surely looked a whole lot better on paper.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
I think this was probably pretty good before like all the intervention and all that.
Too many cooks.
Yeah.
Let's do Gary Thompson from Philadelphia Daily News. Tango and Cash is a loud, violent, badly written, rather boring cookie-cutter cop picture.
I think that's right on the nose. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say.
I really don't think it's overly violent. Like, I mean, it's pretty tame in the violence department.
Yeah, that's true. I think it is pretty tame in the violence department myself.
Loud,
yeah.
Sure. The last action sequence with the, we'll get to that part, but other than that, it's not a loud movie. And I think he's wrong.
Yeah.
My opinion of his opinion is wrong.
Yeah.
All right. Variety staff from Variety says a mindless buddy cop pick loaded with nonstop action that's played mostly for laughs and delivers too few of them.
I could see that.
I do think you have to... Okay. I'm going to keep reading more reviews here in a moment. And in case you haven't noticed, everything I've read so far has been a negative. And to be honest with you, most of them are. There's probably one positive for every 5 negatives that I see. So we're going to continue to give a range here. But I will say this. I kind of want to get a little ahead here of where I normally would at this point. Because I think this is important. Because I picked this movie. So I want to kind of get on the record here for what was behind this selection. When I picked this movie, it had been probably 15 plus, probably longer than that. Probably over 20 years since I had seen it last. Been a hot minute. And watching it again, it felt like a different movie. I think what it taught me a couple things. One, it taught me how an individual's perception can change over their lifespan. You know, like how they perceive things.
Yeah.
But it also taught me that I think as a youth, I had a misconception that the adults were in charge. And the adults that made movies kind of had their shit together.
Right.
And they knew what they were doing, especially, you know, the Stallones and the Kurt Russells, like the big guns. They know what they're doing. So, of course, that's a good movie. Mm-hmm. And watching it now in hindsight and realizing how... I don't want to say it's a bad movie, but it's really hard to take it even remotely seriously. Like, you have to have fun with this movie or you're going to hate it.
I mean, there's parts of this I do like for various reasons, but pretty much you described everything I would say like about it.
But we'll dig more into that later. So, anyway, back to the reviews. We have James Sanford from Kalamazoo Gazette says, another clunker from Stallone's assembly line.
Yeah.
Is it fair to pin it all on Sylvester Stallone, though?
Yeah, that's a person that just doesn't like Stallone, so...
I don't know. I got something to say about that.
Okay.
About pinning it on Stallone and how that... I get from what you just said, Justin, that it's unfair to pin it on him solely.
I didn't say that. I asked the question. My answer may be similar to yours.
You posited the idea.
All right. I definitely want to talk about that because that kind of goes into what I was saying earlier about how when I was younger, I felt like the adults who were making movies were in charge and knew what they were doing. But I've learned a lot in my old age.
That's because we're adults and we don't know what the fuck we're doing.
This is absolutely true.
We're already in our midlife and we still haven't figured out shit.
Yeah, you're sitting around on the couch in your underpants talking to 2 other assholes.
Yeah, via the internet.
Via the internet.
Yeah. Hey, we founded a guild. I mean, that's cool.
That's true. The founding fathers probably felt the same way.
Yeah. Yeah, Thomas Jefferson.
There's like a 5,000-year-old vampire going right now going, oh, Mason.
I thought you were getting ready to read a review from Thomas Jefferson. I was like, what?
Thomas Jefferson from the Daily Independence.
He saw Tango and Cash? That's incredible.
Yeah. This movie blew my mind. Horseless carriages. Hand muskets.
Hand muskets.
Hand muskets. Oh, no. right. All right, we got Bob Bloom.
Wait, you
from-
didn't read Thomas Jefferson's review?
No, he doesn't have one. Bob Bloom from Journal and Courier. He says, Drek and more Drek, a waste of celluloid, almost makes one appreciate Judge Dredd.
Oh, man.
Hey, whoa.
Another attack at Stallone.
I like Judge Dredd.
I know,
damn
I
it.
do too.
Mr. Around the Law.
That's harsh saying anything's a waste of celluloid because everything has some kind of value.
Yeah,
You know?
there's something there.
But yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Chris Hicks says, movies like this are annoying because they seem to be saying that the audience is made up of morons.
What the fuck you, dude?
No, I agree with him. He's saying that the movie is not giving the audience credit enough.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do a couple more negatives. I know I'm going heavy in the negatives here, but there's a lot to kind of wade through. So we got Frank Oaklang from Movie Eye.
I thought you said oak leg.
Jeez. All right.
That Jaeger got me lit.
Yeah. Frank Oaklang from Movie Eye says a boisterous and banal buddy-buddy formula that arbitrarily pairs Stallone and Russell in tiresome banter. Janet Maslin from the New York Times says, for all practical purposes, there is no plot.
There is plot.
Kinda. There's a plot.
There's a plot.
I know. I agree.
Actually, honestly, the plot kind of killed it for me, but we'll get into that later.
Okay, so let me do a couple positives, and then we could start digging into our own experiences with this movie.
Are there positives, though?
Surprisingly, Luke Y. Thompson from New Times says a much tighter and harder hitting action flick than you might expect.
Good for you.
Yeah, man.
All
Way to find the positive.
Yeah.
Way to polish that turd.
Yeah.
Peter Canavisi from Groucho Reviews says a bizarrely appealing movie. Tango and Cash is the essence of camp. It's bad and knows it's bad, so therefore it's good? With a question mark.
I don't think it knows it's bad.
Yeah.
I don't think that movie was trying to take itself seriously, for sure. Not at all. I don't think so. I didn't get that feeling.
Okay. Based on what I read about Stallone, I do believe that it was.
Really?
Yeah.
We'll get into that then.
TV Guide staff from TV Guide says
No fucking shit. That's a coincidence.
It's my birthright.
How'd that happen?
All right, they say a very smart, dumb movie.
Well, what's smart about it?
I thought the concept was really interesting. You know, because these villains have all this power. They probably could have just killed them fairly easily, which that's also going to pop up again too. But the fact that you hate these people so much, you want to make sure they're disgraced before you kill them is pretty venomous.
It's cool you say that, because here's what I want to do. I want to read one more positive that's real quick, and then I want to circle back around to a negative. And now this negative we're going to dig a little deeper into, and it touches on something that Justin just brought up, which I think is good. Cool. So here's one last positive. This is John Ferguson from Radio Times. He says the result is great brainless fun. So he enjoyed it. So
I agree with that.
Good on John. So here's the negative. Now this is more involved, and this is by James O'Ealy, which is spelled O''EHLEY. I'm guessing you say O'Ealy.
I don't know. Something.
Yeah, he is from... Where is he from?
Ireland?
Moviegurus.com. Yeah, Ireland.
That's a wild guess.
I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know. I could be way off.
Yeah. All right. So this write-up starts with a quote between Cash and Tango. Cash asks, "Where did you learn to drive?" Tango responds, "Stevie Wonder." Now, James goes on to say, "Now, I wonder what was going through the minds of Kurt Russell and Sylvester Stallone when they read the above bit of dialogue from the screenplay of Tango and Cash. Did they think, quote, 'Wow, this is some clever and funny stuff. I definitely want to star in this movie'? Or was it, 'Ugh, this is so lame, but moviegoers are idiots, and they'll probably love this crap. I don't know. Stallone has starred in some pretty god-awful bad movies in his lifetime, so has Russell. So maybe they did think the screenplay for Tango and Cash was pretty good. Who knows? But is it really difficult for me to think that anyone would find the banter in this 1989 movie amusing? Each line of dialogue makes one just groan out loud. The plot is even worse. Stallone and Russell are buddy cops who are framed for a crime they didn't commit and end up in prison. Seems like the mastermind behind their setup is a heavy played by the ever-dependable Jack Palance, who has been doing this sort of thing ever since his turn as a meanie gunslinger in Shane. Like most movie villains, the Palance baddie just doesn't kill off the heroes when he gets the chance. No, instead he prefers to toy with them for no apparent reason, except that this is the sort of thing that movie villains have been doing ever since the very first James Bond. This, of course, leads to the bad guy's downfall. And it continues. But, Justin, I thought you brought up a good point. Obviously, you perceived that as them wanting to shame them and humiliate them and make it
them.
Almost worse than death.
Yeah, it's personal. Yeah.
Instead of killing them and having them...
Just smear their whole legacy, basically.
Yeah. Instead of making them martyrs.
Yeah, exactly. And then strengthening the numbers against them, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I want to get to our personal experiences with this film. So like I had touched on earlier, when I saw this movie as a kid, there were two things that stood out to me. I remember the iconic shot. I always appreciated the difference between the two cops. Like you had the younger, it's similar to and we can talk about it, similar to the comparisons with Lethal Weapon, where you have, the older, more civilized, experienced, upstanding cop with the kind of the old school gun, and then the younger kind of wild card with the gun with the laser sight on it, which is like badass to a, 13-year-old or however old I was when I saw this. Yeah. I remembered that, and then the other thing I remember was the boobies in the backstage at the club.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So that scene always stuck with me for some reason. I'm not sure why. But...
let's explore that a little bit more.
But like I said earlier, what my perception and the way I remembered this film from the last time I saw it, probably 20 some years ago, was much different than what I experienced this time around, and it really punched me in the face this time around, and it kind of caught me off guard. Like I do remember there being, the one-liners and the goofy kind of cop banter and the back and forth and the Stevie Wonder kind of gimmicky lines. I remember that, but I don't remember it literally being every sentence of dialogue. I felt like they were going for witty banter.
Yes.
I totally agree. Yeah, and I think one thing that I did see through watching that Joe Blow video series, what WTF happened to this movie, they said that Stallone upped all the one-liners. Like he's the one that added a lot of that, or pretty much all of that in. Justin, did you see that too? And did you?
I watched it. Yeah, I can't remember, but I do know that, and I know he's kind of been notorious for like rewriting scripts and stuff like that.
And now I don't know how true that is, but that's what the video said, that Stallone is responsible for the one-liners. And yeah, it does wear thin. Now there's some of them that are good, or at least make you like, ha, that was kind of funny.
Yeah, there was a couple I liked too.
Yeah, but seeing it as an adult, Pat, I agree with you. It's like in your face how constant the quips are.
So we're going to talk about this, but director Andrey Konchalovsky was replaced towards the end of principal photography by Albert Magnoli. And in his book of memoirs, Konchalovsky says that the reason he was fired was because he wanted to give the film a more serious tone than the producers wanted, and as such, his relationship with producer John Peters became untenable.
And there's John Peters.
Yep. Konchalovsky, however, has nothing but praise for Stallone, who he states was a constant voice of reason on the set.
Okay.
So I want to dig a little more into the director situation, which, like I had hinted at before, there were a total of 4 different people who directed this film at some point in time.
Was Stallone a director at one point?
No, he wasn't. But
because that usually happens.
Before we talk about the directors, though, I want to talk about Barry Sonnenfeld, who you guys, I'm sure, are familiar with, who was the film's original director of photography, but was fired by Stallone, who felt he wasn't being lit to satisfaction. Which, I get it, I do, but I don't think... that doesn't give me warm and fuzzies about Stallone, you know?
Yeah.
And I guess Donald E. Thorin was Sonnenfeld's replacement. I started to feel like, and I'm going to read something else about the directors now, I started to feel like, to me, it appeared that Stallone was so focused on I don't want to say the wrong things, but he was so hyper-focused on what he was focused on at the expense of everything else. And I think what ended up happening was he ended up kind of like blowing up the potential goodness in this thing and kind of watered it down to what we have today. Which
he couldn't
sucks.
see the big picture.
Yeah, he couldn't see it. So real quick, I'll just read this then. So a total of 4 different people directed the film. Andrey Konchalovsky, who was fired after about 3 months of filming by John Peters and Sylvester Stallone after the movie went over budget and schedule, but not by his fault, they say. Executive producer Peter McDonald, who was also the second unit director, then took over directing on the movie for some time. A year earlier, McDonald had to step in as director for Stallone's previous movie Rambo 3, after the original director was fired by Stallone. Then Albert Magnoli was hired as the new director to finish the movie, but even after principal photography was finished, he caused 2 more weeks of further delays after he decided to reshoot some parts of the movie. And Stallone was also directing the movie behind the scenes. I guess you were right, Mike. I guess he did do some directing himself. Something he was known for, especially during the 80s. None of them, however, had any control over the editing of the movie. Instead, Warner Brothers hired expert editor Stuart Baird to re-edit the movie after they expressed strong dislike for the initial rough cut. Baird hired another editor, Hubert de la Boleri, I'm not sure quite how to say his name, naturally, to help out when Warner Brothers kept complaining on every different cut of the movie that was edited, which almost caused for the release date to be pushed way further than planned. In the end, the movie was finally approved for theatrical release by Warner Brothers, and it ended up being shipped to theaters only a week after its original release date as wet prints, an industry term meaning that the movie was just barely completed before its release date. So anyway, it just sounds like a shit show.
Yeah, you can't have that kind of nonsense going on.
No. That's why when I hear a review, when someone like James O'Eely...
From Ireland.
Yeah, from Ireland. When he goes on to say, did they think, Stallone and Kurt Russell, did they think, wow, this is some clever and funny stuff, I definitely want to star in this movie? Or was it, ugh, this is so lame, but moviegoers are idiots and they'll probably love this crap? The fact of the matter is, I would say there's more chance of you reading a script and the final film being an abomination of what you thought it was going to be, because there's so many moving parts.
When you signed on, it was a completely different animal than what ended up as the finished product.
Yeah, or what you were pitched, or what you had in mind, or what the words said, because a lousy director or a lousy editor or even a production that's in shambles can take a really good script and completely convolute it and make it chaos.
Yeah.
And then you're scrapping to stitch something together at the end.
Plus, I feel like people think that actors just sit around like going through all these scripts, finding the perfect ones. I think sometimes they're just fucking it's just work. It's a job.
Yeah.
So you keep working. Like Kurt Russell at the time, which a big star, but think this is only a couple years after The Thing, which was a theatrical bomb.
It was a bomb.
You know what I mean? He wasn't even the first pick. He was like the second or third pick. I think Patrick Swayze was the first.
Yeah.
So it's not like well, yeah, this is they're gonna wait around. Sometimes you just got to keep working, man.
Yeah.
If not for the money, at least just to keep going. You know what I mean?
To keep your career momentum.
Yeah.
And like you said, Pat, and initially this could have looked like a good, this might actually turn out good. But then once all the shit started hitting the fan and all the directors started, they started going through the directors and editors and all that crap, it becomes a completely different thing than what was originally on the page. So as an actor, you have literally no control over that, unless you're Stallone.
Well, unless you're Stallone.
This is way past The Thing. Thing was 82, wasn't it? I think I was thinking Big Trouble in Little China. It was like 86 or something like that. But still, further proves my point.
I think what was also happening, too, you had Lethal Weapon in 87, and you have, as someone like Stallone, I could totally see him looking at that film and being like, yo, I want to be in a movie like that.
I feel like 87, like Lethal Weapon to me was kind of like the tail end of that action buddy. Like, it wasn't the end, but it was like kind of winding down towards the late 80s.
Yeah, but let's be honest, Lethal Weapon was the bomb, wasn't it?
Hell yeah. Still is.
I like that movie.
Still is.
Justin, you like that movie?
I like it. I don't love it. I loved it when I first saw it. I think it was like 10. It was on HBO or something. Mm-hmm. But I like it now. I still enjoy it, and I think there's other like crime buddy cop type movies I'd rather watch, like Beverly Hills Cop, even though it's not like a buddy cop type thing.
Yeah. Nice.
I like it quite a bit. I actually like all 4 of the Lethal Weapon films. I think all 4 of them are solid in their own right. But Pat,
you're free to say that because you have diplomatic immunity. Cut that shit.
Pat, but you did give us your history of this movie.
Yes. So
briefly.
Now I want to get yours. Unless you have any questions. Did you have questions, Mike? Were you going to ask me a question?
No, I was gonna jump into me and Justin's histories.
Yeah.
With this
No, I would love to get into that. So, Mike, you seem antsy to want to tell us your history.
No, there's nothing really fancy about it.
All right, then we'll go to Justin.
All right, get ready for fancy.
Mine will be very brief.
Yeah. All right, whoever wants to go first, I don't care.
I remember hearing about this movie when I was younger, and I never saw it. Which I love the cast. Like, all these people are pretty great. But yeah, just never watched it. And then I think it was like a year or so ago. I think I saw it streaming, and I was like, I think it was actually last year sometime. I was like, I've never seen this. I want to watch it. And I was not impressed. But I do remember thinking the same thing. Like, I was like, man, if I would have watched this as a kid, I would have loved it.
Yeah.
So I was curious if your nostalgia factor was going to weigh in on this, because I don't have the nostalgia factor on this. I feel comfortable being like, yeah, I don't really like it. But if I had the nostalgia factor, I'd be like, well, there's this.
You want to know what I learned about the nostalgia factor, though?
No.
What's that?
The nostalgia factor is not infallible. It can be overpowered by age, wisdom, and growth. What I mean is, up to this point, everything we've done in the podcast, if it was a strong element of my youth, typically that was enough to outweigh any kind of obstacles that have, gotten in the way since then.
It puts the beer goggles on.
Yeah, no amount of nostalgia factor was going to save this movie.
Yeah.
And I hope I'm not giving too much away with where I stand with my my thoughts on this one, but
3.2. Thanks for listening. See you next week.
Short and sweet.
Yep. All right, Mike, what's your history?
I saw this movie again, and I've talked about this before in previous episodes. I couldn't tell you which ones, but to reiterate for anyone who may not have listened, growing up, I had no cable. I just had like regular, antenna television. Living in the backwoods of Maryland. So I got like 3 channels. So I saw this movie on network television, heavily edited for TV with commercials for the first time. And I remember looking forward to it because I already knew who like Stallone was. I was mildly aware of Kurt Russell. Like I recognized him. I wasn't like, oh, that's Kurt Russell, I know him. But I definitely knew who Stallone was. And as a kid, I liked this movie. I thought it was a fun action movie. And I had seen it a couple times. I think that was back, I probably taped it off a TV or something and watched it a couple times at that point. So I liked it enough that, like, I watched it a few times. It doesn't hold up so well, though. No. Like, it's not bad. Like, I'm not, like, watching it and like, thinking, like, why am I watching this piece of garbage? But it's not something that I'll be like a lot of other movies where every once in a while I'll think of it and be like, oh, man, I want to watch that. Like, I could go quite a while without watching this again.
Which, it's so funny because I have to say this. So off air, when the 3 of us were communicating, trying to work through our troubleshooting, our technical issues and all that, because like we had hinted at earlier, there were technical difficulties. This episode would have already been recorded as of this moment, but because of these issues, we couldn't. So we ended up having to watch the movie multiple times just to kind of re-prep for the show. So, Justin, what was it you said to Mike and I?
I think it's something like, I'm not watching this fucking movie one more time.
But you said it's it's knocking off the oh shoot.
Oh, it's throwing off my like Tubi algorithm.
Yeah,
like it's just gonna suggest like bad action movies to me now.
And then we were saying like this movie's like suddenly popular on streaming.
Yeah.
Like, what's
it's
going
trending.
on?
yeah.
Man, there's suddenly a resurgence in interest. We should think about making a sequel.
Yeah. They bring him out of retirement.
Just based on the three of us rewatching it in preparation for our delayed episode here.
Exactly.
By the time we stop having technical issues.
I ended up watching it as you guys have. I watched it twice over the last couple weeks here, just trying to get my bearings and study up and whatnot. And holy shit, I think I got my fill.
Yeah,
I think I'm good for another 20 plus years.
I could literally say I could go another decade or two, maybe 3 if I live that long without seeing it again.
So, for all the negative speak that I have spoken thus far about this film, I will say
that I have spoken.
I will say that this film has it all. All right, you ready? Bear with me. They got the buddy cop police drama. It's got the action adventure. It's got the comedy one-liners. It's got court drama. It's got a prison break. It's got spy weaponry. It's got crime boss mob drama. It has dance and music. It has breasts. It has drag.
Waiting for that. Yeah.
It has romance, love affair, dating. It has erotica. It has hostage situations. It has car porn, and it has martial arts. I mean, there's a lot packed into this movie.
That's a good point, yeah.
So it still sucks, but
It's like when you get one of those multifunctional like guitar pedals or something that does like 1,000 things, but it doesn't really do any of them like extraordinarily well.
It literally like checks all the boxes, but does it check? Does it like pay particular care to any of them? Not so much.
Yeah, they're there.
a jack of all trades, so to say.
Yeah.
But master of none. Isn't that how that goes?
Yeah.
That's true.
All right, so just rattling through here. So obviously Stallone, little tongue in cheek.
Are these your points?
Yeah, these are my points.
Pat's pants.
Oh, I'm sorry, Justin, hit me up.
Pat's points.
Mr.
Yeah.
Is Pat's points.
Or Pets points.
Wait, do the other one.
Pets points.
Do the Tango and Cash.
Oh. Tango and Cash. Cash and Tango. Did it better before. I can't do it on the spot.
That's great. Far better than I can do. But anyway, here we go. Rambo, obviously Stallone having some fun, little tongue-in-cheek, the whole Rambo's a pussy thing.
This is where it lost me, though.
Okay.
Because, I feel like he's like, yeah, Rambo's a pussy. Kind of, almost saying, oh, this movie's gonna, bury that movie. That's the way I took it. This is the new shit. This is what's going on. And I think Rambo's, 1,000 times the movie this is.
No doubt. I don't think you're going to find anybody who feels that Tango and Cash is better.
I think I took it more of him just poking fun of it at himself.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah, kind of. But it falls a little flat when you're making fun of a movie role you did that was leagues better than the one you're making fun of it with.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah.
The other thing that was surprising to me, again, it's all perspective, and the perspective of a 13 to 16-year-old, however old I was, to the perspective of a 40-year-old, there were a lot of undertones in this film that I didn't pick up back then. And one of which, Russell, I said Russell Crowe. Jesus.
Russell Crowe. He was good in this movie, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kurt Russell, he seemed okay. He has that one line where he says that limey immigrant jerk off. Like he seemed very anti-immigrant.
Yeah, he was like, I want to be killed by an American.
I know, but it was like it wasn't just a one-off line. Like that theme kept popping up.
That's like when at the beginning when he steals the car and then totally wrecks the guy's car, and he's like, welcome to America.
I know.
Or something.
Yeah, and that made me feel bad. That dude was obviously just buying presents for somebody. He was like holding a bunch of gifts, and this asshole American cop comes along and completely destroys his car and then gives him some smart-ass response as he walks away. Like, how American of me. You know, it's just so fucked up.
What was that movie that had? They weren't in it long. They were at the very beginning. It was a buddy cop movie, and it had at the very beginning it was Samuel L. Jackson and The Rock.
The Good Guys.
The Good Guys. Yeah.
Yeah, or was it The Other Guys?
The Other Guys.
It's The Other Guys.
Yeah,
that's it.
So, but I feel like the characters, the original characters of The Rock and Samuel L. Jackson were like that part had to be inspired by this movie, where they're just like ultimately like totally invincible.
Yeah.
Like dickheads. Sociopaths. Yeah.
Here's what else I learned. Stallone usually wears contacts, but in this role he wore his glasses because he has astigmatism.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I don't know. For anybody keeping notes on who has eye issues, I don't know. Maybe there's somebody out there.
Yeah, there's a hero for you.
I mean, apparently all three of us do because we all wear glasses.
Yeah.
That's true.
Although I'm not wearing mine right now.
No,
or much
true.
Or much else.
This is also true.
So Justin had touched on this. Swayze was originally cast as Cash, but later dropped out to star in Roadhouse.
Good choice.
I think so too.
Very good career move. I mean, ripping people's throats out with your bare hands is much better than Tango Cash.
Kurt Russell originally was considered and offered the role of Martin Riggs in Lethal Weapon.
Oh, I did not.
But turned it down.
I did not know that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Huh. Wow, that is interesting.
Yeah. Let me see. Page 2. A lot of the stuff I'm skipping because we already talked about. Oh, yeah. So there were clearly... Well, we've mentioned it a couple times now, the Lethal Weapon connection here, but clearly there was winks and nods to Lethal Weapon because Tango's call sign was 20 William 12, which was the same as Riggs and Murtaugh's in Lethal Weapon.
No shit.
Yeah. And I thought that was interesting. So obviously they weren't being too secretive about their, tapping into what Lethal Weapon had to offer.
Interesting.
All right, so shortly after this film was released, there was a very lethal brand of heroin being sold in the Bronx, New York. It was named Tango Cash.
Oh, no shit.
This was stamped on the bags the drugs were contained in. So many addicts overdosed and died. The New York PD was driving around neighborhoods using loudspeakers to tell people not to use this particular brand of heroin. This was reported on all the flagship network TV stations there as well.
Wow.
So, that's interesting.
Any press is good press.
Yeah. Yeah. This is where we talk about how Stallone was the one that put the heroin out there. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, wow.
I was going to say, did they hand out bags of heroin at the movie premiere?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, buy a ticket, get some heroin.
Kids, don't do drugs.
No,
at least not heroin.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, we joke, but it's.
I'll drink to that.
We joke, but it's no laughing matter.
No, fuck no. No, it's really not.
All right, so Robert Zadar, we talked about briefly. So who wants to tap into... I know you guys probably know a lot more about him. I know him from his main other big role. But you guys may know a little more than I do about him.
Justin, I think, probably knows the most.
I don't know. I just know from like...
Put you on the spot.
Oh,
well...
Maniac Cop, right?
Well, of course. That's
Maniac Cop.
That's his Hamlet.
Cherry 2000. He was in that.
Oh, was he? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see him pop up here and there, and you're like, "Holy shit! It's the gigantic jaw man."
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is statuesque.
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay. So here's my question, and again, this is not to like hone in on anybody's physical attributes in a negative light at all. But I'm wondering, like a jaw like that, is that just like is there a physical situation that causes that beyond just normal genetics? You know what I'm saying?
Some type of defect.
Yeah. I'm trying to be ginger about how I approach it.
I remember hearing he had something, and I think it was called like cherubism or something like that.
Okay.
I guess we could probably look it up, but I think he did have
like a genetic,
some genetic condition. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Let's see.
But it is very like striking. Like you don't forget his face.
No.
Ever.
No.
Much like the guy that played Jaws in whatever James Bond movie he was in. He also has like a very distinct face.
Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, so you're right, Justin. Suffered from a genetic disorder called cherubism, which causes excessive bone growth in the lower face, which was the cause of his enormous jawline.
Interesting.
Good call, Justin.
Yeah.
I learned a thing.
Yeah, so he was a former Chicago police officer, worked briefly as a Chippendales dancer. Yeah. And he was a Chippendale.
Huh.
He also began his career as a singer, keyboardist, guitar player for the Chicago-based rock band Nova Express.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Man, he talk about a jack of all trades. Holy shit.
Renaissance man.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yep, he's the main antagonist in the horror trilogy Maniac Cop 2, and Maniac Cop 3, Badge of Silence. Mm-hmm. So, that's clearly what I knew him from.
What an interesting guy. Like, I didn't know those other aspects of him. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently he was a super nice guy, too, from what I heard.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, so we should talk about he passed away on March 30th, 2015. Cardiac arrest.
I think it was at a convention.
Oh, my God, really?
I think so, yeah.
Shit.
That's horrible. That sucks.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's talk about somebody else. Let's talk about Brian James, who also passed away.
Yeah, I know.
From what I've seen of other actors talking about him, he apparently really liked the nose candy.
Oh, Brian James?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that's, I don't know if that continued through his whole career, but at a point in his life, that's what I hear. He was
So, again, Brian James, for anyone listening who might not know the name, the face. He's been in a ton. Blade Runner, The Fifth Element, Striking Distance.
Yeah.
Another 48 Hours. We just recently talked about him in our Enemy Mine episode he was in.
He was in a movie in 81 called Southern Comfort I liked. It was a Walter Hill movie.
Oh, yeah, I like Walter Hill's stuff.
Yeah.
Not everything he does, but a lot of his movies I find, like, kind of quirky and off the beaten path.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways.
There's a certain grittiness to him.
Yeah.
But yeah, he passed away as well in 99.
Which is weird to me because I didn't find out he died till like a couple years ago. Mm-hmm. And I remembered thinking like, man, I haven't seen that guy in like anything recently, but he's in a lot of movies that I love.
Yeah.
And then like I looked him up and I was like, oh, well, damn, that sucks.
Yeah, so heart attack for him as well. Which
54.
Yeah, 54. That sucks.
And then that's a shame.
One more actor from this film, Tango and Cash, who has passed away.
Jack Palance?
Oh, well, yeah, I guess he passed too, didn't he?
Yeah.
I guess I should say...
He'd been 1,000 years old today.
Yeah, I should say passed before his time. Michael J. Pollard, who we talked about from Scrooged, he passed away as well. He was 80 when he passed.
Yeah.
And he was also cardiac arrest. Jesus God.
Wow.
Hollywood in the 80s, man.
All right. Cocaine is a hell of a drug. Oh, we forgot somebody that's in this movie.
Who?
I know.
Clint Howard.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
That's
Slinky.
Great. Yeah, I don't know how we overlooked him.
I don't even know. Did we mention James Hong either? That's who I thought you were going to say.
Yeah,
Pat
I mentioned
did mention him
Okay.
at the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he's been in like 1,000 movies.
Yeah. Holy crap. Yeah, he's still. I think he's still acting.
Oh, and
I think he is too.
Yeah. I want to talk about James Hong. I want to look at his list real quick in a second. But
speaking of Blade Runner, he was in that as well.
The other actor I was talking about that died before his time is Michael Jeter. You guys familiar with him?
I know the name, but I might be thinking of Derek Jeter.
Yeah, no, Michael Jeter, you'll definitely know him if you see him, but he passed away at 50.
Mm-hmm.
He passed away epileptic seizure,
Oh,
asphyxiation, and he was he died in 2003.
Oh, I know who he is. Yeah. Jurassic Park 3.
Yep, the Green Mile.
Green Mile, yep.
I know him from, oh, Jesus, what's the one with Robin Williams and Bridges? The Fisher King.
Oh, he's in that? Okay.
He was in
What's
The
his
Fisher
name?
King. Yep, he
Okay.
plays a homeless cabaret singer where he's like dressed up in like drag, and he goes into like an office and stands on a desk and he's like singing aloud. making a
been-
scene.
Oh yeah, I know the guy you're talking
It's
about.
been decades since I've seen that movie, so...
He's been in a ton. He was in Waterworld. He was in
Oh.
Oh, that's crazy. He died at 50?
50. Yeah,
I thought he was 50 in this movie.
yeah. He's got 80 credits. So I mean, he's been in a ton. But yeah,
Wow, that's crazy.
yeah. But anyway, James Hong. Let's talk about him real quick, and then I'll proceed on Pat's points. He's got it. This always astounds me. He has
a lot of credits.
441 film
God
credits.
damn! That might be
That's so crazy.
That might be the highest one we've come across. That man is incredible.
If anyone out there can find any actor who has 441 acting credits, please let us know. I would love to
We'll
know.
send
who
you a
that is.
donut.
We'll send you 2 girls with green eyes. Indeed.
Now, this is really pissing me off to no end.
Oh God, yeah. No, it's some of his classics: Big Trouble in Little China, Blade Runner. Like you said,
Wayne's World 2.
God, yeah, we could probably rattle off just about every movie, and he's
Totally awesome.
What was the one, Mike, we watched? You introduced it. It was the VH1 movie.
Totally Awesome.
Was it Totally Awesome?
Where he plays the Miyagi character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where he's always like making sexual advances towards the kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. His parts in Tracy Morgan were the funniest part in
Now
there.
scrub my deck or something like that. And then he's like sitting in the hot tub. He's like, "Yeah, would you like to sit in the hot tub with me?" Or something like that.
But dude, what? I mean, 441 credits. I can't even wrap my head around that.
That's astronomical.
He's Cassandra's dad in Wayne's World 2.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
God, so much.
He was in The Golden Child.
He's in so many movies. Tank Girl. He's in Tank Girl.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's right.
I forget.
He
Who
had
did he play in
that,
that?
that
He's the
bit
guy that-
part.
Yes, I do remember.
He's the surgeon or whatever that cuts
Yeah.
what's his face's head off.
Yep.
Malcolm McDowell. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
All
That's
right.
crazy.
So, unless you guys have anything to add amongst the supporting cast.
We have to mention Teri Hatcher. Did
Oh,
anyone say
yeah,
anything
no.
about her? Did we skip over her?
Yeah.
We're saving the best for last?
I think I said her in the beginning, but yeah, we haven't talked about
Okay.
her.
You did mention she's in it. That's one of my points. When I was younger and I saw this movie,
Yeah.
I thought she was Alyssa Milano.
Oh, okay.
And for many, many years, I thought it was Alyssa Milano in that role until we watched it for this episode, or I watched it for this episode, and I was like, holy shit, that's not Alyssa Milano. Like, for decades, I had it in my head that it was Alyssa Milano playing that role, and it totally wasn't. And then I was like, ooh, Teri Hatcher.
That's all I know her from was the Lois and Clark. I think.
That's what most people know her from, yeah.
Oh yeah, was she in Desperate Housewives?
Tomorrow Never Dies. I didn't see that.
I've never seen Desperate Housewives, so I don't know.
Anyway, Mike, anything else? Justin, anything before
I like the Three's Company sex scene
What?
when she's giving Kurt Russell the back rub or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And Stallone walks in, and she's like, "Oh God, it's almost in."
Yeah.
Three's
That was a
Company.
bit much.
Three's Company.
Was that? Yeah.
'Cause, you know, they were always overhearing something and misunderstanding it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Oh, Cash has the world's biggest laser scope.
Oh yeah.
That scope on his gun is just obnoxious.
But I
That's
remember
to
it
prove
being,
how tech he is. He's the tech guy.
yeah, I remember it being the shit when I was younger.
Oh, sure. When you're
Yeah.
Justin, I want to get to your points in a second. I just want to.
Sure.
I was looking at something that I had here, and just so we could talk about the absurdity of it. We talked about the one-liners and the zingers that this film had packed in, and when I watched it the second time, I paid attention. Like, I just picked one scene, and it was the scene in the very beginning where Stallone stands in front of the truck and, like, shoots the gun, and then the truck crashes, and the guys fly out of the truck, the windshield, and they land on the ground. And Stallone, in that minute-and-a-half scene, not even, in the 30 seconds of that moment.
It's like opening credits.
Yeah, but in that 30 seconds of that moment, Stallone says, "Glad you could drop in," and then says, "You like jewelry?" as he puts the handcuffs on, and then says, "I only like blondes." When, you know, it's like, dude, zinger, zinger, zinger. Literally 30 seconds, you got all these zingers in here. But the whole film is like that. Like, it doesn't, there's no, they don't pull back.
There's
at
no
any
real
point.
characters.
It's unrelenting. One of my notes says monster truck, of course, because it's the 80s. And there has to be a monster truck.
Well, do you know at the end, and now it wasn't the vehicle they rode, obviously, that was something different, but in that final scene, the skeleton, the bones of that monster truck was Bigfoot.
It was? Okay.
Yeah. So,
well, we should circle back around Michael J. Pollard real quick, because we didn't talk about him.
You probably didn't notice it because it was a blurry shot of it.
Boo.
Oh, I see. I get it.
Michael J. Pollard is like as the tech guy.
Yeah.
You know, he was kind of like the Q or whatever from James Bond. Yeah.
Dude, I'm telling you, I have memories of this movie, Mike. If Looks Could Kill.
Oh my God! What's his name? Grieco. Richard Grieco.
Richard Grieco. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, dude! I haven't seen that movie. The last time I saw that was probably watching it with you.
Yep. I know. Yeah. Our boy Will Owens, who I know is a guild listener. He. It was I think it was at your house, Mike, it was your party maybe. A bunch of us were over, and we rented it, and we all watched it.
Maybe.
At your place. Yeah, I remember that. I fucking loved that movie, but it was that whole spy thing where all these kids went on. Can we cover that movie? I would love to.
Yeah, because that's like a forgotten...
Yeah.
Holy shit, I'm curious to see if that even holds up.
Yeah, but they went on a class trip, and he was mistaken for someone who he wasn't. This high school kid. I forget the character's name. But anyway, they had a very similar situation like with the Pollard character in this film, where he supplies them with a bunch of fucking weaponry and fancy spy shit. Dude, I love that stuff. Like, I loved it.
It's always fun. They even have that in, like... I don't like this movie. Sorry if you're a fan of this movie, but Van Helsing, they even have that character.
Oh, do they?
Yeah. I hate that movie.
That movie. Fuck that movie. Yeah. Fuck Stephen Sommers, except for Deep Rising, and I liked
The Mummy.
Not the Mummy. I don't like The Mummy.
I like the. That's the only one of his I like.
No. Yeah. Deep Rising. Have you ever seen that, Justin?
I didn't see that one.
You should watch that. It's great. And then the Dean Koontz book. Odd
did
Thomas.
you like? Yeah, I was gonna say you liked Odd Thomas. I did not like Odd Thomas.
See, I like Odd Thomas.
I turned it off.
Oh man,
halfway through.
Those are the only two movies of his I like, and they're both lower budget. His big budget films, I don't like. I think he gets too excessive.
He once said that he's like. I think it said on IMDb or something. It said most people say less is more, but I say more is more, and I'm like, you're wrong.
Yeah, you're wrong.
There's no wrong answers, but that's pretty damn close.
Yeah, he's wrong. Well, I mean, it's his opinion.
To each their own. Who am I to say? He's making movies. I'm sitting here talking to you guys, so yeah, maybe more. You know what? I stand corrected.
I mean, he must have the right formula because his movies generally make pretty good money.
Yeah.
So Deep Rising, check it out.
Yeah, and If Looks Could Kill. If you haven't seen that yet, check that one out.
Pat, we got to add that to the list.
I want to.
Yeah,
I forgot that movie existed.
Did you?
I watched that like a year or so ago.
Did you?
What's that? Yeah, no.
Yeah, recently I watched it. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I love that movie.
We'll save that conversation for when we do it on
I want to know your opinion, but I don't want to know right now.
Yeah, let's sit on that one.
So
Justin, if you have some points, you get them out there now, and then I can just wrap up with the few points I have. So Justin, floor is yours.
I'm glad you mentioned about the opening scene because I'm still baffled on why Robert Zadar's character slammed on the brakes.
Oh yeah, just run his ass over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Two things confused me. Why was he taking out bullets to put bullets in his gun?
Yeah.
Were they different bullets?
Probably different bullets.
They were like fear bullets or something, because they didn't break the glass. They just made him scared to run him over. I don't know. It was weird.
Maybe we're not gun expert enough to know. You guys at home, let us know. Were they a different type of bullets? Were they like hollow points or something?
Yeah, I don't get it.
I don't know.
Yeah, it was
I
weird.
don't know that stuff.
But I don't know. Maybe they disabled the accelerator on the thing and made the brakes. I don't know. I just don't understand why you would slam on the brakes. You're going right at this guy. You're not playing chicken when he's standing there. Maybe you were playing chicken. I don't know.
And you're running drugs, so why not just fucking crush him and just move on with your life?
You know what? Maybe Robert Zadar was a criminal with a heart of gold, and he didn't want to jump to that next level of murder.
I think he tried to strangle him later.
Shut up. Don't ruin my theory.
With a chain.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what, though? That was after he was hardened by prison life.
That's true. The penal system got to him.
That was around the time they tried to electrocute them, too, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It was after they had...
Yeah. So, there you go.
So here's another thing. Later on, when you're setting up the story where, you're introducing Kurt Russell's character, also known as Cash, he goes into his place, and then he's, like, looking at himself in the mirror, and then a dude busts through the mirror from somewhere. And then shoots him in the chest, which the funny part is you don't find this out till later that he wasn't supposed to kill him. He was just supposed to, like, send him on this wild goose chase. If you're not intending to kill somebody, why would you fire about 5 rounds into their chest and hope that they're wearing a bulletproof vest?
He's probably... I mean, he's home in his own place. He's probably wearing his vest, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's true, yeah.
Maybe he was just a really bad shot. He meant to get him in the leg or something.
Well, he's at point blank range, too.
Or possibly he had mirror shards in his eyes from jumping through the mirror.
Or maybe the bullets that Stallone took out earlier, he took out the fake bullets and put in real ones, so the guy shot Russell Crowe with real bullets, thinking they were fake.
Kurt Russell, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Did I say Russell Crowe?
Yeah. Russell Crowe again.
Whatever. You know what I mean.
Maybe Russell Crowe should have been in this movie. No, we still get it. We're with you.
Justin, anything else?
This is one thing, and this is shame on me, because I wrote this down when we were watching it, and I didn't really understand the nature of what his sister's job was. Mm-hmm. Like, was she a dancer or an exotic dancer or a stripper or what?
I know one thing she is, a drummer. She played a hell of a drum kit, let me tell you what.
No, she didn't. She was bad. She couldn't keep time.
No.
Yeah, it's a tough call. I got the impression
she's clearly an exotic dancer. I
would say exotic.
They reveal it all when she's walking in the back there, and they're all naked.
Yeah. But then it was like, maybe they were changing. That's why they were naked. I don't know. But what I was
because dancing girls kind of do that too, like just regular cabaret dancers. Like backstage, they're like changing costumes and stuff.
Maybe. I don't know. I've never been in.
But I would still say she was probably an exotic dancer, not a stripper. I wouldn't call her character a stripper per se.
Okay, good. Because I wrote down that he seems overly concerned about the welfare of his stripper sister. So he's like worried about where she's going on vacation, but taking off her clothes for a minute in a seedy bar. So, but shame on me because I don't understand the difference. So
there's definitely a distinction, and not that any of them is wrong. Like if I had a sister who was a stripper, I'd still be concerned about her.
I'd still go check out her show. That's what
Jesus!
You're gonna say. I'd be supportive.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
This movie was made when shopping by mail was quick and easy. Do you remember when he's talking about his whole plot about like setting him up, and he's like, why don't we just kill him, be quick and easy, and he starts naming all these things that are quick and easy, shop by mail being one, which just like seems slow now.
Yeah.
Oh, and I think part of my problem with this movie is why I couldn't get behind it is they're sociopaths, and one thing that kind of like really solidifies it, there's a whole scene where like Sylvester Stallone gets up and gives this whole spiel in court, like, yeah, maybe sometimes I'm tough on crime. And it's like, yeah, well, I guess this guy really does care. But then later on, the guy's like, you got all this money, why do you do it? And he's like, I just do it for the thrills. He's like a hot dogger. Like, so you're just really like busting people's heads just for the thrill of it. You're a dickhead. So yeah, that's about it. Oh, and I like that they got 18 months for murder. So seems pretty lenient.
So to wrap up my notes, I did think it was a little goofy, like right after they pull over the truck in the beginning, and then Stallone reveals that there's coke in there, that the villains just happen to be driving by in their limo.
Yeah, exactly.
Right as all of that's going down.
And plus, too, like, it's the 80s. You're going to tell me not all those dudes, like, were doing coke anyway? Like, that was the bad drug?
Oh, yeah.
That's Brian James.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The music, the score in this was extremely questionable. I didn't know what the hell they were doing half the time.
It opens with like almost like a hip hop kind of sound.
Dude, it's so weird.
Yeah, it's a lot of percussion.
Yeah, there was at least 3 or 4 times where I'm like, oh my god, what are they doing? Like, they had this beat going on and this like keyboard thing. I'm like, okay, yeah, you're losing me. Oh yeah, that was the other thing, Justin. When Cash was being a dick and stole that foreigner's car and was smashing it.
Huh?
Well, I guess it was before he took the car, when he was getting the bag lady with the cart of cans out of the way. He got her out of the way, but then like intentionally pushed her cart of cans in front of the car. Dude, you got them out of the way. Why are you doing that? It was just kind of a dick move.
He's back to a net zero.
Yeah, so I have in my notes pretty irresponsible cops, chair on the neck, questionable tactics, but maybe that was standard back in the 80s. I don't know. It
was standard for 80s cop films for sure.
Yeah.
Because they all kind of did it. I don't play by the rules.
Yeah. So 2 things. The first one I'll just get out of the way real quick. I do love like the last 20 minutes of this movie when it's just like, it's not a buddy cop movie anymore. It's like just like a vehicular combat movie.
It's just a big action set piece.
Yeah. It's just like, it could be like a Mad Max movie because it's like they have like pickup trucks with like machine guns mounted on the hood and stuff like that.
Explosions and...
Yeah. I love that. That's what I wanted. That's why I was saying earlier where the plot got in the way of the movie. Like, if you're just going to make it a big action movie, just give me more of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
But the thing I think it's really funny is it shows them like, taking this experimental car, busting into the place, shooting everything up, killing just about everyone, blowing the doors off everything, all without a search warrant, I'm sure. So they're just like, they're trespassing, they're blowing everybody up, and at the end it's like, heroes save the day. It's like, how legally did they because it doesn't even prove anything. They shot him in the head. They didn't prove that they were set up or anything.
That's true.
They just proved that they escaped jail and murdered a bunch of people.
I mean, unless there's like a paper trail implicating Jack Palance, but
that didn't even dawn on me.
No, the building blew up.
Well, true.
And plus, too, like, who has like a self-destruct sequence in their warehouse? Like,
1980s film villains, duh.
I guess. Like, none of that shit like made any sense towards the end at all. It's like,
that's true. Because they would have gone right back into fucking jail when they caught their asses.
Yeah, if you get 18 months for killing an FBI guy, what do you get for killing like a whole like warehouse full of bad guys?
Well, yeah, but you don't know they're bad guys.
Oh, yeah,
it's just
that's
a
true.
warehouse
Quote unquote
full
bad
of people.
guys. Yeah, some of those guys were just construction workers driving construction equipment, trying to. We got an intruder. Let's get rid of this crazy like Gatling gun SUV.
Yeah. This movie definitely throws logic out the window for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of moral ambiguity, though. Where it lacks in logic, it makes up for it.
That's 80s buddy cop films, especially, were notorious for that.
Yeah, but I feel like anytime something comes out that's cool, they keep redoing it. Yeah. And they keep, every time they do it, I feel like they slice off a little piece that made it good, what it was. Yeah. And put extra base level stuff in that was like just there.
It's like a copy of a copy of a copy.
Yeah. Yeah,
and
exactly.
It loses its luster.
This didn't introduce anything new, I don't think. I mean, aside from the list of things that Pat said, but they weren't new concepts, but the fact that they put so many of them on a movie, like Pat said, was impressive.
So I'm just going to rattle off a few more, and then we'll get to our wrap-up and ratings. So again, God, I almost said Russell Crowe. Kurt Russell accuses the one guy, after he's holding a chair to his neck, says, speaking like a native already. Again, with the foreigner and the not American thing. It's like, what the hell, dude? It was real heavy.
Yeah.
It was
What's his deal? Yeah.
There's a bunch of lines his character says throughout where it's like clearly he's like anti-non-American.
Yeah.
Their first face-to-face, Tango and Cash first meet face-to-face on film 20 minutes into the movie.
Okay.
I still remember, I touched on it earlier, that scene where they're back-to-back on opposite sides of the wall. Mm-hmm. It's on the movie cover and stuff as well. But that's like the lasting image of this film for me. Like that's the visual... that's what I see in my mind's eye when I think of this one. From the time they meet to the time they are sentenced as guilty and in jail is 10 minutes.
Okay.
So they meet right before they're framed. Mm-hmm. They get arrested. They have court, and they go to jail. That all happens within 10 minutes of the movie. Clint Howard, we talked about.
He's great.
Oh yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, Clint Howard. Well, he's awesome.
Yeah.
He's going to come up a lot on this podcast, for sure. And he impresses me too with his credits. Not nearly as much as
James Hong.
James Hong, but a shit ton. There's something that has concerned me in my viewing over the last 2 times in preparation for this podcast. During the prison abduction, where all the bad guys are abducting Tango and Cash and getting ready to bring them down to, we don't know where at the time, but ultimately they're bringing them down to be like electrocuted and tortured and whatnot. When they get them out of their jail cells, I want you guys to pay attention to this next time you watch, which I know will be 20 years from now, if ever. But there's a scene when they pull them out of their jail cells. One of the prison guys, like one of the other bad guys, quote unquote, gets kicked over the side of the rail from like up high.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
And he just like you see him fall, but you never see him land. You don't. Does he die? Like, and that is like I couldn't get that out of my head. Like I just wanted closure, and I never got that closure. If that guy lived or died, I'm not sure.
You should write a short story about that character.
Yeah, I should.
Yeah, there's probably a story there too about like I wonder if he pissed someone else off, another inmate, and he saw his opportunity in the thing to push the guy over the edge.
Yeah,
you should weave it in through the Tango and Cash being in. Like start with his story and then weave it
Tango
into
Cashiverse.
And you know maybe he didn't die in that fall. Maybe there's more to the story.
When I write that, I'll let you guys know before I post it.
You should.
Brian James, who we talked about, but we did not mention his ridiculous accent.
Oh my God! Was it like a Cockney accent? I guess.
Yeah. So, but the first time he speaks is about 40 minutes into the movie, and when he hits you with that accent, it's just like, holy cow, Brian!
Yeah.
Tone it down just a touch.
Yeah, you're really hamming it up there with that accent.
Well, the funny part is, too, they mentioned, I guess it was on IMDb, I didn't do a lot of research, that, like, he didn't even have that big a role, but, like, Sylvester Stallone or something loved his accent so much that he added more lines for him.
He added more, yeah.
Oh, really?
I did see that, yep. I think that was in that video.
Again,
it's a great accent.
Again, Stallone not doing himself any favors. The electrocution, of course, similar to Lethal Weapon when Riggs was getting electrocuted.
True.
That poor assistant warden who helped get them out of the slammer, and then his dead body comes rolling down the hill later on when they're in that shaft or wherever they are trying to get out. There was that Jackie Chan connection. I guess there was a scene from an old Jackie Chan flick where he stands in front of a truck with a gun pointed at a big rig, like firing shots.
It's a bus, I think.
Was it a bus?
Yeah. Police story, maybe? I think it is.
I think you're right.
I think it's the first police story.
Yeah,
it's a bus,
Yeah, so again, it was pretty much ripped off. Stallone ripped it off. But then later on, apparently, and if you guys know this, correct me, I guess when Tango and Cash escape from prison, they do that thing with a belt and they slide down the line.
Zip line, basically.
The zip line. And Jackie Chan ended up ripping that off for one of his movies later on. So he kind of got them back. and I think that
Fair play.
Yeah, I think it was in Rumble in the Bronx.
I love that movie.
the Stallone "I hate Danish" line.
Oh yeah.
What?
Did you guys catch that?
I don't.
Yeah,
what
that
is
was
it?
awful. And then I read why he put it in. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, it's still awful.
Yeah.
Remind me. I'm sorry. Remind our listeners, because I'm totally there.
He was married to Brigitte Nielsen, who was Danish. So that was the.
Okay, it was like
was
a
a
jab.
jab.
I think he was
jab at
going
her.
through a divorce at the time, or it was after the
Yeah.
divorce or something.
Yeah.
So it was a little backhanded jab at her.
Yeah.
What a dick. Like, did he really have to immortalize that in film?
Well, apparently, because it lives on. A couple more real quick points, and then I'm going to get to wrap up in ratings and all that. Stallone, this is not his first time playing a police officer who is framed. Can you guys guess the other two, at least? There may be more, but
Stop
there's
or
at
my
least
mom
two
will
more.
shoot.
Oh, damn it, you beat me to it.
Is it?
Was he framed in that one?
I don't know, but I was just going to say that one. Just
No, I don't know if that's one of them. It's
Uh,
not on my
there's-
list.
There's another one where he goes to prison, but I can't think of the name of it. Right? Isn't there another one where he goes to prison?
There might be. That might. Okay, so at the time, yeah, this list of 3 that I have might be old. So maybe there's some updated versions, but at the time, there's this one and 2 others. Is all I have, and you guys have yet to guess them. Do you
Rambo?
want me to tell you?
Our First Blood?
What?
No, was he framed in that? I don't think he was
He
framed.
wasn't even a
He
cop.
wasn't framed. He wasn't really framed, but
He was actually a security guard.
he was unduly harassed in First
no,
Blood.
but that's not correct. All right, I'm going to tell you because this is
Yeah,
dragging
please
on.
do, because I'm
All
not. I'm not the biggest Stallone.
Okay, well, the first one I
Encyclopedia.
say you're going to know, and then the second one I say you're really going to know as well. You ready?
Cobra.
Demolition Man.
Oh,
fuck.
I thought you said. I thought it was before this movie.
No, I didn't say that. I just said maybe this list is old. I didn't
Oh,
say
gotcha.
before the
Go
movie.
ahead.
And
It may have been updated in more recent years. I'm not sure.
Over the Top.
What?
No, no.
joking.
The other
I'm
one.
Not
The
even
other one.
trying
You ready?
now.
Judge
the other
Dredd. Judge Dredd.
Yes, Judge Dredd.
He totally is framed in that. Yeah.
All right.
I didn't see either.
You
What?
didn't?
Shut the fuck up. He's lying.
No.
What was the first one? No, I saw Demolition Man. My bad.
You've never seen Judge Dredd? Mm-mm. Wow. Pat, you and I saw that in the theater.
Yeah.
I saw
My then
Demolition
friend,
Man.
now co-host.
You said then friend, now co-host. Yeah, we're no longer friends,
No.
but we are co-hosts.
Yeah. Just coworkers.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 more points. There was clearly a Stallone stuntman during that hallway scene when the car exploded in the garage.
Oh yeah.
It was clearly not Stallone,
Yeah.
even remotely.
Yeah.
And then I thought this was interesting. Jack Palance, or Jack Palance, however you want to pronounce it, was from Latimer Mines, Pennsylvania, which I did not know.
I didn't
which
know that.
is from where we record, give or take. We're in 3 different areas, but we're all in the same vicinity. It's only about 2 to 2.5 hours, depending on which route you go from where the
Oh, wow.
general area.
Is that like mining town type of area? Sounds
it
like
must
it.
be.
It sounds like it.
Latimer Mines, certainly. What
Oh,
gives you that
yeah.
idea?
I didn't even register that part.
What was it, the Latimer or the Mines part?
The Latimer part. Totally.
Yeah.
I was like,
All right.
Latimer? That reminds me of mines.
That's all my points. Any final thoughts before we move on to rating this puppy?
Nah.
In the spirit of discovery and learning, which is part of what we do, I actually started looking. I mentioned earlier about Edward Bunker.
Oh, yeah.
Which now I'm saying it out loud. I think I said his name wrong earlier. Anyway, I thought he was the one that played Mr. Blue in Reservoir Dogs.
Okay.
So at one time he was on the FBI's 10 most wanted list,
What?
and it was something that he was like he was the youngest inmate at San Quentin at one point too.
No
Really?
shit.
Yeah,
What did he
was
do?
Apparently, like a thug when he was younger. Yeah, according to IMDb, was guilty of numerous crimes since early childhood, including smashing a neighbor's backyard incinerator with a claw hammer at 3, setting fire to a neighbor's garage at 4, and jamming a fork in a boy's eyeball at 15. At 17, Bunker had established himself as the Doogie Howser of the California penal system. Parlaying a series of robberies, assaults, blah blah blah. It goes on. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting, and I guess I think he met Danny Trejo. He met Danny Trejo in California's Folsom Prison
no
in
shit.
the late '70s, and became
No
close
shit.
friends. And they were in Runaway Train and Heat
Oh.
together, an Animal Factory.
Yeah, Bunker. Listen to this. This is cool. Bunker worked on Heat as a prison technical advisor with Robert De Niro, Val Kilmer, Tom Sizemore.
I fucking love that movie. Heat.
Yeah, but that's cool that he worked
Yeah.
on it as prison technical advisor.
Yeah.
That's really
Yeah.
cool.
That is cool. It's just kind of cool seeing someone take a negative or something maybe that's not like the best lifestyle and turn it around into something, giving
Yeah.
entertainment to people instead of poking people's eyeballs out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, him, Danny Trejo, they turned their lives around. Another one is Charles Dutton, Rock,
Oh, yeah.
and Alien 3. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. You read about him sometime. He has a criminal past too, but man, he totally turned himself around and, became
That's cool.
a successful, upstanding actor-citizen.
I was really confused because when you kept saying Charles Dutton, I was thinking Charles Durning.
Oh, shit. Yeah, not the same Pepper Shed.
I was like, wait, I'm
Pepper
confused.
Shack. Is it Shed or Shack? That's what I get messed up on.
It's Grape Shack and Pepper Shed.
Yeah.
Grape Shack, Pepper Shed.
I mean, it's really up to the user's discretion, but
Yeah.
And Bob who?
Oh, God, I don't remember.
Bob who, Justin?
Bob Shaku,
Bob
our
Shaku.
executive producer of the show.
Bob Shaku.
Yeah.
Jesus
All right,
Christ.
let's rate this thing and get the hell out of here. Nobody cares anymore about this movie. Justin, you want to go
man.
first?
I'm going to give it a 5.4, just because, I don't know. It seems lower than other movies I ranked, but a little higher maybe than ones I didn't like so much.
Mike, what do you think?
Close, but I'm going to go a little higher, 5.7.
Okay.
There's definitely things to enjoy in this movie. It's not great. If you're bored, if you're bored for 2 hours and you've never seen it, check it out. If you've
just
already
watch that
seen
last
it,
20 minutes.
if you've already seen it, you don't really need to revisit it unless you want to revisit it after listening to this podcast and kind of incorporate some of our thoughts and whatnot. But other than that, you don't really need to see it. But 5.7.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I think for me, God, I don't know that I kind of wish I would have gone first because I think I would have gone lower. And now I'm going to feel like a douchebag.
No, go lower because we probably should have went lower.
Because
Turn the
go
tables
Go
on
lower,
us.
go home.
And this is what I think what's happening, like I talked about earlier, how the nostalgia factor usually plays into bumping our ratings up. But I think that nostalgia factor in this case is going to drop this rating down because,
It made you mad.
again, it's a tale of two films.
It
Like,
didn't live up to your perception.
Yeah, what I watched this time around is not what I felt and what I remember from
Yeah.
back then.
Yeah.
And I think there's disappointment there. And maybe that's not fair, but fuck it. I'm going to give it a 4.5.
Fair enough.
So that's it.
It's your pick. You can give it whatever you want.
Yeah.
Well, I just did.
Even if it's not your pick, you can give it whatever you want.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see what we got as an average here.
It's going to be 5 something. Low 5s, probably.
5.2.
Yeah. I think that's pretty on the money for this movie.
Yep,
Yeah.
5.2.
I think it would have been different too, but based on a lot of factors that people involved, I feel like usually when you see this cast, even if it's not a great movie, it can usually elevate it. But I didn't really think it happened in this. It just kind
And
of
that's funny because what was the audience score, Pat? Was that like a 52%?
The audience...
Because I guess 54.
Yeah, audience was 52.
So we're right on par.
Oh, yeah, 5.2. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
We're right there.
Damn.
We are the everymen.
So we are definitely not critics. We are the audience.
Yeah, a clear sample size of the audience.
Yeah, that's pretty. Like nail on the head right there.
Yeah.
Perfect. Man, that's cool.
All right. Any final thoughts? Anything we missed? Any other?
I will say this, since this is one that we weren't particularly crazy about, like if you do like this and you think there's things that are, noteworthy. I like to like things, as you might know. So if you like this movie and, you think it's better than maybe we gave it credit for, please let us know. And it'd be nice to have a discussion about it, because I like to like things. So, maybe I'll see it'll color my opinion a little bit. So I would appreciate that.
I agree. Yeah, I need all the help I can get. So if I'm missing something, please tell me. I will say this, and I'm glad I thought, as my final thought before we shut it down, is Kurt Russell. We do need to give him a little more love, I feel. And there is...
Says the guy who couldn't say his name right.
Yeah, I know.
I agree.
Yeah, I do feel that if there... Even though I picked up on things from his character, there's something about the aura of Kurt Russell that I love.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Me too.
The sound of his voice, his presence, like, there's something about him that is, like, deeply ingrained in my being, and I do enjoy me some Kurt Russell. So
yeah, he's a family favorite in our house. So
yeah. And to play off of that, like, I enjoy Stallone too. Mm-hmm. But sometimes he can wear out his welcome. Where I don't get that feeling with Kurt Russell. Like, if Kurt Russell's in it, even if it's not the greatest movie, he's still good in it, whatever it is. Stallone can be hit or miss. Sometimes you're just like, oh, God. Yeah, not even Stallone can save this, you know what I mean? But you never get that feeling with Kurt Russell, like he's phoning it in. It just doesn't happen. So, yeah, he's got that magic, like, star power.
Yeah, and I do feel that sometimes... See, Kurt Russell has an ability to always kind of be himself, but he doesn't always come across to me as, like, just playing the same character. Like, some actors do that. Some actors are like, oh, he's just playing the same frickin' character. Kurt Russell has this... he has this ability to always be Kurt Russell, but I never watch his stuff and feel like he's just rehashing the same shit he did last time.
Yeah.
All right, so Mike, Justin, any final thoughts? I say we shut her down.
Yeah, I'm ready.
I think we're good. Okay. Just the reminder of the social medias and such, and we'll wrap her up.
Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Discord, the MacGuffin Guild in various variations. Is that
various
proper?
Variations? Sure, why not?
That works, right?
Yeah. I'm trying to think what you're trying to say.
Various incarnations?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, if...
Various variations?
I guess what I'm saying is, on Twitter, we are at MacGuffin Guild. On Instagram, we are at _MacGuffin_Guild. On Facebook, you can just search for MacGuffin Guild. Yeah. And on Discord, I'm not quite sure how to find us.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just MacGuffin Guild on there, but good luck. You'll be lost in a wave of comments, so don't even bother.
You'll get lost.
All right, well, check us out. Continue to be a part of this. We really appreciate it, and we apologize for the delay in pumping out new material, but we're going to try to get back on things here. We might be doing, at least through the summer months, bi-weekly, so just prepare for that.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll keep you guys posted if anything changes.
Yeah. You'll be going to the beach and going on vacation stuff anyway. You ain't got time to listen to this.
I do have to say real quick that, like, man, good to be back.
Yeah. Well, all right. Mike, Justin, always a pleasure. Love you guys. I'm glad we're back at it here.
Yeah, man.
I'm sorry that it had to be with this abomination of a film.
No, it's fun. It was a good one.
Nah, you know what? There was good discussion, though.
Oh, absolutely. No, I had a lot of fun talking about the supporting cast.
Yeah.
So that was good shit. Yeah. But anyway, we will see you guys next time.
Yeah.
Right?
Where we will be covering Dead End Drive.
I'm super excited about that one. Yeah, I can't wait to watch that.
So look for that.
Yes. All right, Mike, Justin.
All right.
I'll see you guys next time. I'm Pat, and peace.
I'm Mike. Goodbye.
I'm gonna see you.
All right, later.
raised you better than this.
Thomas Jefferson from the Daily Independence.
He saw Tango and Cash. That's incredible.
Yeah. This movie blew my mind. Horseless carriages. Hand muskets.
Hand muskets.
Hand muskets. Oh no.